Spiritual Fitness Podcast. I'm back again, another episode, and I'm your host, Eric Bigger. And today we're going to talk about the role of shadow work in your personal growth and success in life. Do anybody know what shadow work is? To anyone guessing, shadow work is the part of yourself that you neglect, you avoid, you hide in, or you suppress because it's uncomfortable to look at the shadow side of yourself that you don't want to look at. For one, you don't want to be judged. For two, you don't want to believe that you're that way. And for three, it's where all your power is, but yet you don't know. So in my line of work, in my line of coaching and business, I work with a lot of high-end CEOs and entrepreneurs. My clientele is more of the it person of their industry. And so the patterns I've picked up on with powerful leaders, entrepreneurs, CEOs is that they're really great at showing up for what they love to do. They're great at executing and they know how to make waves and waves of money. However, behind all this success and power and money and fortune, there's something they fear the most. And for some of them, it's their anger. Others, it's their spiritual power and truth. Others, it's the love they really want. I'm just going to discuss what my shadow side was for years that I neglected from the world, neglected from myself, and I especially neglected from the people who are close to me. Now, in shadow self, you don't have to share with the world, right? You want to keep it in house, and you want to be intimate with it, and you want to embrace it as if it's your friend because it's part of the full spectrum of who you are. We can't have light and no dark. I can't be all positive and light and enlightenment and wisdom, but then I'm not sharing my dark masculine or my dark truth or the shadow side of my personality or persona. So for years, I hid those parts of me because I was afraid people would judge me and I wouldn't be the person I appear to be. So here it is. I'm gonna share with you right now some of the things that I was invested in, i.e., by myself alone or just in life that I was afraid to share. Number one, I used to be highly addicted to porn. I watched a lot of porn growing up. I had all this energy and I need somewhere to put it. So I wasn't on drugs. I didn't drink. I didn't read, but I was addicted to porn. So that was part of the shadow side of my personality. It's like, oh my God, like addicted to porn? Yes, I was. And honestly, it was really bad and it controlled how I saw a woman, how I thought, and it had a stronghold on me. Just like anyone can have like sex or alcohol or drugs or food can have on you or anyone out there. But I was so afraid to embrace that part of me. But that's where I was at those moments in life. Two was I was afraid to ask for help because I was afraid of being rejected. And so when I was young, there were several times I did ask for help from a caretaker or provider and I didn't get it. Or I was told it was going to happen, that it never happened. So it sent me on this path. I'm never asking for no help. I'm gonna do it all by myself, all by myself. So that's where fear came in of being rejected. So I just didn't ask for help. But me not asking for help allowed me to do a lot of things on my own where I could have just got a helping hand and would have probably jumped 10 steps, right? And the porn addiction was also allowing me to connect with the deeper dark forces of myself. And then not dark meaning bad. It's like, why am I so attracted to this genre of life? What is it in me that I'm trying to hide? So what I realized from porn addiction was that for me, that was the only way I felt safe in my body when I was afraid as a kid or just growing up. And I realized, like, damn, I really get in that phase when I'm having an emotional hard time in life. I'm emotionally eating. It's like the emotionally eating will come and then the porn will come. I'm like, man, these kind of have a mirror, kind of like reptilian brain, right? Fight or flight. So when I'm in scarcity or I'm feeling fear, I will always go to that because it would make me feel good. Because the number one thing we do in life to avoid pain, we go to pleasure. So we always seek pleasure before we seek pain. So I was going to pleasure every time pain was trying to come into my life. I'm like, nope, 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 not going to feel that. So that's where that jumped in. Next was I was afraid to be angry because I wanted people to see me as a good person. I wanted people to see me as a positive person. So I didn't feel that I should be angry because I'm the guy that's positive and have all this knowledge. But deep down, I was severely angry at life, at people, at situations. And I neglected that anger for so long. And honestly, that anger controlled me and came out in different ways. Cause it's all emotions, it's all energy. And last but not least, another thing that was a part of my shadow frequency for years was when it came to dating and relating, love. And I was so afraid to express my true feelings. I was afraid to say the word I love you because I didn't hear those words growing up. And I didn't feel love as a child or man growing up. So I hid behind that and I just gave love to everybody. I could say I love you in a general aspect, but when it came to intimate love and vulnerable love, I was so afraid. So all these things kept me on the freeway or the highway of crashing and burning in or not living my true life, not living my true self, not being fully authentic. Now, look, a lot of these things are not easy to address. A lot of these things are not easy to acknowledge. However, the growth that came with my shadow frequency was that I was allowed to see the full spectrum of who I am and to accept those parts of me and understood and understand what is the root to all of this? What am I trying to fulfill and what void am I trying to fill in these moments? So the benefit of being in your shadow frequency is that like when I'm working with a client, when we get on a Zoom, when we get on a call, I'm telling them, hey, I don't want you to lie. I don't want you to act like something isn't bothering you. Don't bullshit me. Give me the truth. Give me the rawness, right? However, I'm also holding a safe space for people to tell me their truth without me judging them. So when I'm in these sessions, people feel comfortable and safe to tell me any and everything because I'm not coming from judgment. I'm trying to see who you are. I'm just trying to see what space are you in vibrationally and energetically based on what you're not allowing yourself to see, right? So I always tell clients, look, bring the darkness, bring the pain, bring the truth to these sessions because I don't want you to hold on to any darkness or shadow side in you. And then when you leave, it's still running your world. Because I had a client last week say, well, I can compartmentalize a lot of things. I'm like, okay. So you can compartmentalize you not being angry with your wife about a conversation because you don't like confrontation. Okay, cool. So don't have the conversation. Then when you go to work, that energy is still going to be in you and it will come out of you. And he's like, man, you're right. I said, yeah, it's not about who's right, it's about what's right. It's best that you have the uncomfortable conversation and to embrace your anger as a man in a loving way, not in a aggressive way, to understand this is a real emotion. You're being affected, and you should have the right and feel safe in your nervous system to communicate it. Now, look, if you're like me, you spent a lot of years being a people pleaser and making everybody happy. So for you, i.e., the client at the time, it might not be as easy for him to be angry because no one's never seen him angry. So to be angry is like, you don't get angry, right? So that's also the challenge of the anger emotion for most people. I'm saying all this to say that when we allow our shadow frequency to come to the light and we put it on the table and we don't have no resistance in our nervous system and we have no fear about what it is and who we are, I'm telling you, you feel so much lighter in your body. I'm like, oh, I don't have to be judged anymore, right? I don't have to be judged. I don't have to hold on to this. Like I had shame and guilt around porn, right? I had shame and guilt around asking for help because I felt like I was weak. I was so afraid to receive love because I didn't trust it, right? All these things was in my shadow side that I hid from everybody and I act as if I was okay. I had it figured out. I knew it all. I had the answers. No, I had no answers. I was lost. I was sad. I was broken. I was hurting because I wasn't fully accepting all of me. And this is why I'm telling you guys today, listening. I don't want you to go out in the world and half tell it and be one way, but then when you get home, you're another way. Or you're constantly trying to wear this mask and play this character that's not even real to your soul and you're dying inside. I was that guy. So the reason working with your shadow to grow and have success is because once you put the shadow on a table with the light, you can merge the two and have a full embodied person. That means you're not hiding anything. Imagine if, you told someone, hey, I'm going to take you out for dinner. Meet me at Cheesecake Factory at 7 p.m., right? And then you get there and you don't really have the money to take anyone out on dinner. You don't have the money, but then you're acting like you do. And then This person think you're gonna take care of the bill and it's gonna take care of the night, right? And then you can't, or you stand them up, or you ghost them, or whatever weird stuff. It's because you're not embodying your true self. Instead of saying, "Look, I would love to take you to dinner tonight, but honestly, I haven't got paid, or I don't have the finances to support you in this moment. Can we rain check? I'm sorry for the late, but I'm really embarrassed to say this, but can we try to do something like early next week, and maybe something, maybe not dinner, maybe can we do lunch?" So that conversation alone is allowing that person in that moment to release the fear, the shadow side that they don't want a person to shine light on because they don't want to be judged. And even if the person judges you, you're still being authentic and you're being truthful. So that person is going to respect you more than anything. So now what happens is the other person gets a choice to say, you know what? I appreciate that honesty. Yeah, it's all good. Let's hang out next week. And now that person comes closer to you, right? Because now you're being honest about where you are and you're not acting as if. So that's the power of allowing your shadow to work through you so you can grow and have success. Because honestly, that's the only thing I think is holding 95% of people back. I believe 5% just have lack of direction and guidance. I feel like 95% of people are being held victim or hostage to their shadow side because they're not being their true self. I had a therapist off of Better Health. He said only 1% of the world's population is authentic because we're not programmed to be our true selves. We're programmed to wear a mask, to show up and be this person that's not real, but it's real for the benefit of the job, of the relationship. I learned this one thing at the Joshua men's retreat. Never jeopardize your truth for connection because most of us jeopardize what we truly feel because we want to keep the connection going. However, that connection is not as strong as you think when you're not being truthful, right? To run it back, your shadow frequency you must face. Face it with love, not with fear. And if it takes a long time to open up to others about it, open up to yourself. Get a piece of paper, get a journal, and just write about all the things you feel ashamed of, you feel embarrassed to talk about. It could be like, oh, you're 50 years old and you have no savings. Oh, you was married for 18 years and now you divorce your spouse and you feel severely depressed and lonely, but you don't want to tell no one because you're the one that everybody looks up to, right? Just write it out. And I promise you, like over time, you keep reiterating it, writing it out, and you building a rapport with it. Slowly but surely, you're gonna feel comfortable to communicate it and articulate it to those you love and who deserve to know that. Because here's the thing. They say if no one knows, no one knows. And if you're keeping it from everybody, including yourself, you can only go far in life because that shadow frequency is behind you controlling what you do and what you won't do. You hear it here first. I've been in a shadow of a lot of things that I was ashamed of, that I felt embarrassed about, that was fearful. Even like for men, not, I don't want to say TMI, but sometimes men are so afraid to tell women that they might can't last long enough in bed, right? And I know I'm switching the subject, but I just want to be clear and be real because we'll find any and everything to keep the moment going if we can find a thing to keep the moment going. So basically what I'm saying is we will lie to a woman and hide from what's really going on because we don't want to disapprove or displease her in the bedroom or when it comes to relationship. They always say happy wife, happy life. And most men will try to appease their woman and not feel ashamed because they don't want her to judge them and make them feel inadequate as a man. So we'd rather lie and not tell the truth because we don't want to be embarrassed. That's your shadow side. So with all that being said, the truth is always in the pudding and you deserve to speak your truth and to shed light on your shadow frequency because when you do that, all hell breaks loose. You break loose of hell and you get to heaven. You get from under the ground, on top of ground, above yourself, where you're in your high vibration because you're not having no fear about what the truth is for you. You're not judging yourself for accepting all of you. No one's perfect. You're going to make mistakes. No one has it all figured out. And if you go back and look up the history of people who are at the top, they've been through a lot of pain, a lot of abuse, a lot of trials and tribulations. And without challenge, there's no growth. I say all that to say, if this is you right now listening and you're having something you're hiding from someone, please share it because it's only going to make the relationship and you better. I'll leave you with one more story. So maybe like 9 years ago, I was training a guy client. I forgot his name. Great guy. I know he was a Virgo. Really good. Like he would come to the gym. He would work hard. He was consistent. And I think it was his birthday. And I'm like, man, I'll take you out for dinner, man. Like just for your birthday. And he said he wanted to share something with me. And I'm like, okay. He said, man, I said, I've been meaning to tell you, but I just ain't know how to say it. You've been such an impact and role model in my life, and you inspire me in so many ways you don't even know. And he's like, I haven't even shared this with my family because I felt embarrassed. And so he says, just so I'm clear, I just want you to know that I'm gay. I was like, oh. I was like, I was like, bro, that's fine. Like I said, I knew that. I could see that on you. He's like, really? Like, yeah, bro, it's obvious. I said, but I'm not here judging you for your sexuality. Like, you're my client. You're a great person. He's like, oh man, that feels good to know that. Like, I thought you was going to disapprove of me. I'm like, nah, man, I'm not going to disapprove of you because of your sexual orientation. That's what you into. That's not, I have nothing to do with that. And then we had a deeper conversation about like how he grew up. I believe he was saying like religious background, and I think like maybe his grandmother or grandfather passed away, and he didn't want them to know or something. I think they had asked him, and he told them no. Something he was saying, but he said it controlled his life, and he hid it from people for years. And he said, I just want to be free. So I felt thankful in that moment for him to share that with me and had a confidence and faith for me to listen to him and say, look, man, it's all love. Because I got unconditional support for any and everybody. Like, I'm not here to judge. I don't know what people been through. I don't know what's on them. I don't know what's in them. All I know is what I'm here to do. So, people, shadow frequency, your shadow side will help you grow and be successful and get you to your highest frequency of certainty, which is authenticity. Did you know that authenticity is more powerful than love? Look it up, Google it. I was amazed by that. So when you allow your shadow to rise, you allow authenticity to come through, and you allow love to come on you through yourself, where you can live a more fulfilling, successful, peaceful, joyful life. So it is. Share, subscribe, like. Hey, we want more subscribers to the YouTube, more downloads to the Spot podcast, Spotify, Google Play, Apple Podcast. Subscribe, share, give me a review, give me some feedback, DM me, let's connect. What did you think about this episode on the shadow frequency or working through your shadow side to get to your best side of life? Shouts out to Elia Sparkling Rose. Get 20% off of any orders that are up to $100. 20% off using promo code EB20. And don't forget you to get your It's Miracle Season merch. That's right. At itsmiracleseason.co. Promo code MSeason, all caps, to get 50% off. Get your hoodie. Get your beanie. It's warm. I mean, yes, it's warm. It's cold outside. Maybe warm where you are. Get your t-shirt. And last but not least, if you want to work with me one-on-one, book a discovery call. Let's talk. Let's chat. Let's see if we align. And I promise you, I know I can help you. And I can help you help yourself get out of that shadow frequency that you might be been sitting in for years. And it's okay. We got to love ourselves unconditionally. Win, lose, or draw. So there it is. We're done. Another episode of Spiritual Fitness. Be great, be safe, love yourself unconditionally, and let no one stop you from being your highest and best self. I'm out. Peace.